No, I don't. Are we taping?
The first time I realized I was crazy was when I woke up in the hospital to see a woman with a clipboard standing over me. She said she had a few questions to ask me, and we both knew that was bullshit, so I had autopilot. I just spouted whatever I thought she wanted to hear. After a few minutes of pointless interrogation, I interrupted her to ask when I could leave. She looked up from her clipboard, and I could practically see her words in the air. "Why did you hurt yourself?" My blood went cold and the thick fog of confusion started to clear. What the fuck did I just do? I always knew that I was different. I didn't always know I was crazy. Thought it was like weirdness, not insanity. Looking back, all the signs are there. My ordeal started my freshman year at Oklahoma State. I was drinking like every day, did a lot of drugs, just really trying to self-medicate and deal with these problems that I never had before. One week I would be Malibu Barbie, and then the next week I would be Wednesday Addams. Most of it was just brushed off as freshman antics, but there were definitely some pretty glaring symptoms that eventually became impossible to ignore. So I had some tough conversations with my parents about what we should do, about what we thought was best, and we agreed that I should go see a psychiatrist. And that was really crazy. Because mental illness wasn't something that our family had ever talked about before. I think part of that was my parents' upbringing in small town conservative southern Oklahoma, basically the birthplace of the pray it away mentality. Mental illness was seen as a character flaw. My mom made me an appointment with a psychiatrist in Oklahoma City, and I was so nervous for my first appointment. I showed up a couple hours early and just sat in the parking lot and watched people go in and out of the office.
And I filled out my intake forms, and I lied on my intake forms. I wanted to sound normal / I was afraid of being institutionalized.
At the end of my appointment, she prescribed me antidepressants, and without hesitation, I took them. I thought it was going to be like every other time I went to the doctor with some illness, and I would get prescribed antibiotics or whatever, and then a week or two later I would be all healed up. That was my first big mistake, not knowing how the process really worked. And the antidepressants, they were like gasoline on a fire. They just made everything so much worse. I had stayed up a couple nights I think it was 2, just to finish this one painting. And it's really big, and on it says "Live Forever." And I think that's fucking hilarious, because a couple months later I tried to, kill myself. At the end of the semester, my parents and I, we kind of decided that it would be best for me to come back to Austin for a while and try and figure things out. Year 2 broke me. I don't remember much from like May 2014 to October 2014. The psychiatrist that we had found in Austin just kept prescribing me higher and higher doses of antidepressants and intermittently added in new medications.
And then he told me that I had schizophrenia.
and he wrote me a prescription for a heavy dose of antipsychotics and more sedatives. Yeah. Oh, and that was the day before my 20th birthday. Happy birthday! I went to bed that night, just thinking that my 20s were going to be this death march to like a 1950s style institution. Fortunately, I woke up with a completely different attitude. Stopped taking all my medicine cold turkey. I had no idea what was going to happen. I didn't realize it was as dangerous as it was. I probably still would have done it. That marked the first shift in my battle with this invisible monster of mental illness. I got 2 new doctors in addition to the psychotherapist. I got a new psychiatrist and a psychologist. And I worked for a couple weeks with a psychologist to get a lot of testing done. And at the end of it, she gave me this 17-page summary with an official diagnosis and recommendations for treatment, and it was really helpful. By January 2015, I was feeling a little bit more optimistic about things. I was still in Austin. I hadn't made it back to Oklahoma State yet, but I was still working and going to ACC, Go River Bats. And some guy who was a lot older than I was, he invited me to a party that he was throwing at his house. And I was like, yeah, fuck it, let's party. And like when I walked in the door, he handed me a drink. And I just, without thinking, I took it. And then drink after drink after drink, and finally we got to this one shot, and it did not taste like tequila. It was really bitter and chemically, and he carried me to a room at the end of the hall and shut the door behind us. Shame and confusion just kept my mouth shut. I didn't talk about anything with anyone. This is just the worst part of my story for me. At the end of February 2015, I barely weighed 100 pounds, but I was still working. I used to teach swim lessons, and it was a really good fit for me because I've always loved the water, and I liked teaching. One night I was teaching this class of 7 and 8-year-olds, so it's like a pretty annoying age, but there was this one student in the class who was just like a mean-spirited kid, and he told me that my back looked like the Holocaust. And I was like, oh, so my back looks like genocide, Nathaniel? And he was like, no, it's gross and skinny. I was like, fuck you, you stupid bitch. That's what I said in my head. I did not say that to an 8-year-old. Would not say that to an 8-year-old. That's what I said in my head. What I said out loud was like, Nathaniel, don't tell people that they look like the Holocaust. It's anti-Semitic, and it's not an adjective. And that just like opened the floodgates. What's anti-Semitic? What's the Holocaust? Where do babies come from? And I was just like, oh shit. Dive sticks, go get them. And they were like, well, we love dive sticks. We're easily distracted. But when I got home that night, I looked in the mirror and stupid Nathaniel was right. I was really skinny, and something had to change. So, I started talking. I got the help that I needed, and I got raped, and it really sucked. After that, I became a hermit and I just focused all of my energy on getting back to Oklahoma State. And I did. I moved into a tiny, shitty house near campus with my brother, and I was still a hermit. I didn't leave my house much. I don't remember much of my classes. I was just really afraid of everyone and everything. Just waiting for the ball to drop. The next thing I remember was a few days later. I was in the passenger seat of my mom's car being driven back to Austin. When I got home, my dad had bought me a chocolate cake, and he just looked terrified and helpless when he presented it to me. And just in that moment, the gravity of my actions they became unbearable. I had never seen my dad scared before, and then the first time I do, he's looking at me. That made me realize that all the shit that was happening in my head, it was real. It was real to me, and it was real to the people that cared about me. And that was the first time I felt like I wasn't, alone in this. Back to the tiny, shitty house with my brother, and I was starting to feel like a human again, but I seemed to keep having these little interactions of, oh my god, hi, how was your summer? I missed you so much. Well, I did an intensive outpatient program this summer, and OMG, sad. I went to Cabo. I had a tough but rewarding fall semester that year, and then spring semester was, a total bitch like every other spring semester I've ever had. And just another wicked, depressive episode. It's that dream. The monster is breathing down your neck, and you open your mouth to scream, but no sound comes out. It invades your brain with the subtle finesse of a kitchen knife to the eye. Can't move, can't eat, can't sleep, can't focus. Human tea bag steeped in the worst emotions humanity has to offer. Tell me to cheer up. I fucking dare you. My senior year, bitches! Burr, 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 burr. It's been the best year, for sure. The last time I remember feeling like this was senior year of high school. So it's been 5 motherfucking years. I'm not cured. I still have everything. I'm still dealing with everything. Bipolar and anxiety and attention deficit and, good lord, insomnia. Yeah, that shit doesn't go away, but it's starting to not define me. For the first time, I feel like I am gonna be okay. Things are gonna be okay. And I'm really thankful for my parents and my doctors and my friends and my professors, all the people that helped me get here. There's definitely a lot of people. It was a lot of help. I'm really thankful that I didn't have to go through everything by myself. And yeah, I'm really happy to be here. And my advice to anyone struggling with mental illness is that what you're dealing with is real. Even though it's in your mind, it's real and it's valid and it's scary. But you know, there are ways to see the light again. Yeah, so in conclusion, mental illness sucks, and I'm really happy to graduate, and I'm crying.